Hello, dear children and grandchildren. Grandpa has a toolbox full of products that you might be able to use to do repairs around the house. Let's take a look inside. Isn't that a nice green felt? Here's our first item. Gorilla Glue. Isn't that a funny name? Do you see them on there? Now, what is it used for? For instance, you can use it on wood, on stone, on metal, on ceramics, on foam, or on glass. You can use it on almost everything. And there is a very good set of instructions right here on the box to tell you how to use it. And it is very useful on a great variety of things that are around the house. Let's take a look inside, just for quick. It's a nice little plastic bottle with a very nice cap on the top and an applicator. Let's say that you had something very simple, like a cup, a ceramic cup that you had bumped and you had made a crack in it, or you had dropped it and it had a section that broke away, and it's very, let's say it's very important to you. It may not even be used, but it's for display purposes, and you would like to keep it. This can be used to put the piece back together in the coffee cup. Or let's say that you had let's say a little wooden figure, and somehow or another you dropped the figure, the wooden figure, and his head broke off, and you just used it for display, and maybe it had some meaning to you, that someone had maybe given it to you, and you wanted to remember that, and you wanted to put his head back on. You could use this to reattach his head. Because it's called Gorilla Glue, it means that it is exceptionally strong, and your repair will last for a long time. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice to have it? And isn't it funny? Because it's so strong, they call it Gorilla Glue. Let's put it back in the box. Now, once you put it back in the box, notice there's a little hole up here on the box. You can take this and hang this up somewhere so that it would be readily available for you to use, and you don't lose track of it. Let's take a look at our next item. This is called Quickseal. This is Quickseal, and this is used primarily around things that are ceramic and that are subject to having water near them, like around a spigot or around a spout where water comes out. There are many areas that you can use this. And what you do is you take the cap off like this, and this is brand new. It has never been used before, and you take the cap off, and then you cut a little portion off the tip of this so that the material can come out, and you can then take this and you can put this in a nice little bead around the area that you want to seal off, and it works very well. Then you can take your finger, and if you put too much on, you can actually take your finger and you can push it into the crevice that you want to seal off. Now you have it on your finger, but the interesting thing is that when it is new, it is water soluble. Once it has cured, it is not, and you can, with water, you can rinse it off your finger. I have used this around the spigot on a bathtub because water was leaking from the outside on the bathtub through the spigot and into the wall behind the spigot. And this seals it off so that that water can't get behind the spigot. It is very useful. When you're done, so that because you don't use the whole tube, you must remember to put the cap back on. Put it back on securely, and it will last a long time. And look at this. See the hole on here? You can hang that up, and it will always be readily available for you to use. Let's take a look at our next item. This is called stickies, and it is for only one purpose. Now, this is only for use on wallpaper. Do you have any wallpaper in your house? Many houses do. It's very nice. But occasionally, where there is a seam in the wallpaper wants to kind of come loose. This is used to put it back down again. And you just take the cap off. And if it's not open, you just cut the end of it off. And then you put this down the seam. And then with your finger, you press the seam down, and it is just like the day the wallpaper was put on. It is properly called Stickies Wallpaper Seam Repair. Wallpaper Seam Repair. I have used this on a couple of instances where seams in the wallpaper, the seam has opened up just a little bit. And to make it like it was originally put on the wall, I put a little bit of this right down the seam, and then I press the seam down, and it dries very quickly, and it is a very good repair. If you have wallpaper, you will find this very useful. And a little hole to hold it up. Let's look at our next item. This is called mortite. This is used to put along areas that might be leaking air, like around a window that has a little crack where the window and the sill fit together, and you want to seal off that crack so that warm air can't get out and cold air can't get in. Let's see if we can figure out how to get this one open. It is sealed up very well. So just give Grandpa a second. Grandpa has a little penknife. This is a little penknife blade. And there are many other tools in this. Here's a little screwdriver. Here's a different size screwdriver. Here's another little thing with a point on it. Here's another little screwdriver. But we need to use a penknife. And here it is, with a little blade on it. You must be careful with the blade. Inside is this roll. And look at this. Can you see it? Can you see that? Now Grandpa's going to cut a little piece off of this. Now, can you see the little strips here? It may be a little hard for you to see. I'll hold it as close as I can. Can you see that? And it comes apart like this. And then you can take one little strip like that. You see this strip? You push it down and into the crack, and then you push it with your finger, and you push it into that crack, and it seals the crack up. It is very useful, and it can be used on any crack, and it's called mortite. Do you see it there? Mortite. And you want to take this and you want to put this back into the box. And it will be available then for use at another time. Now remember, you can use this around a window, around a door, or for any other thing where you want to seal up a seam. It is very helpful and very useful, and it lasts a long time. And it is called mortite. Let's take a look at our next item. This is called Gorilla Mounting Tape. On the back, it has a whole bunch of features that you can use this for. I have used this before, and so I have opened it and I have sealed it back up again using the same kind of tape. And this tape is very strong. That's the reason they call it Gorilla Tape. And it says heavy duty. And in here is this roll of tape. I have found it very useful. And on the back are the instructions. It's called mounting tape, but you can use it for any other product. But the interesting thing is, you can mount things to the wall, and it says it will hold 30 pounds. 30 pounds. So, you take the tape, and you unwind it, and then you cut a piece off. Now, just so to demonstrate how this is used, I will put it back in here. And see this piece of tape here that I have put on here? I can take this piece of tape that I have used and I can fasten it back on, and it will hold this. It will hold this together. And it is called mounting. So if you were going to, let's say, put a picture on the wall and you wanted it to stay there, you could put a piece of this on the picture and put it onto the wall, and it would hold as much as 30 pounds. That's a lot. And now it's ready to be used again at a later date. You could put a picture on the wall. You could have perhaps let's say a card that you got, a Christmas card maybe, and you wanted to put it on a door or someplace so that you could look at it for a while. You could use this for that, although it would hold things a lot heavier than that. I actually had a light that was outside that lit up when nighttime came, and it got a crack in it, and it worked fine, but it had a little crack in it. I used this to repair that crack. No water, when it rained, no water would get inside. It worked really well. Now, and this is a use that you wouldn't normally use it for, but temporarily. Let's say you had a window and it had a pane of glass in it, and the glass got a crack in it. You could use this and repair that crack in that window. What What other things could you use it for? Here's an interesting thing. This is my glass that I'm going to have a little drink out of later on. But let's say it got a crack in it. And let's say it wasn't something I was going to use, let's say, for every meal. But let's say that I wanted to keep that glass. I could repair it. It's called Gorilla Tape. I'm going to have a little drink. Maybe you'd like to have a little drink too. Well, we've gone through all the items. I hope you found it interesting. Now, I'm going to pack them up for you. Hello, my children and grandchildren. Today I have a toolbox here full of power tools. Let's see what's inside. Isn't that nice? This is an electric drill. This is an electric drill. It's made by a company called Chicago, but there are many different manufacturers of drills. This drill is powered with electricity, and here is the plug. I'll bet you have plugged in a light. You put this plug into a wall or an outlet that has electricity in it, and you plug this in, and now this is powered by electricity. This is kind of different from some of the other drills because it's a right angle. It goes up and it goes in this way, and it's short. It's a right angle short drill. It has a trigger here which turns it on. If you want it to go right, here's a button right here. If you want to go right, this to turn right, you push the button. You push the button this way. If you want it to turn this way, you push the button this way. That's an easy thing to remember, isn't it? Yes, easy to remember. And it has a safety on it. You can't turn, this will not turn unless this button is pushed in. So if you pull the trigger and push this button in, it will turn continuously. If you push this, it pops out, and when you release the trigger, it stops running. It's a fairly simple piece of equipment to use. It is primarily, though, only used for drilling holes, not for turning in screws or anything like that. It's only used for drilling holes. But you have to have a drill that goes in the end. Goes in the end here. And you see how these things here go in and out. That's what holds the drill in place. Now, let's get a drill and let's see how that works, okay? And here is a container that has drills in it, and it says drill bits. You may have seen this before when I showed you a different drill. The same bits can be used with either one. Let's open it up and see. It has a lock on it so that it doesn't open and you lose anything out of it. Now, let's see if we can get one of these drills out of here. And here's the drill bit, and it fits into the chuck. This is called a chuck. And you can tighten it down by turning this here. But you must securely fasten this into here. And they have given you this little thing here. It's called a key, and it fits into a hole right here, and when you turn it, it clinches this down so that it holds the drill in place very securely. When you're done with it, you simply turn it the other way. Then this can be turned and the drill comes out just like that. Putting it in and turning it down. Now, I will tell you something. Almost all drills that are made for drilling holes are made the same way. Some are small. This is a smaller bit. And if we look at this, these bits go all the way down to the very, very small one right there. A very small bit for drilling a very small hole. Right. This tool is primarily used for only one purpose: to drill a hole. And that's what the bit does. It has a sharp end on it, and you use this to drill a hole. What do you suppose you would want a hole for? Well, there are all kinds of reasons. But if you want to drill a hole, this is kind of the tool that you would want to use. It can drill into wood or metal or plastic. You can even get special bits that you can drill into concrete. Into concrete, like a sidewalk. You could, if you wanted to drill a hole in a sidewalk, for some reason, you could even get a bit to drill into concrete. So there are many things you can use the drill for, depending on what kind of a bit that you want to use. Okay, we're kind of done with the demonstration, kind of. Now, we need to package this back up. You don't put the drill away and leave the bit in it. You need to put the bit back where it belongs. Remember, we tightened this down. We use the key. We put it in here. I hope you enjoyed learning about this particular power tool. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, the instruction useful. Let's have another drink of pop. Did you have a drink of pop? Ah, good, good. Hello, dear children and grandchildren. I have some power tools to show you today. Let's see what's inside. Isn't this pretty? This is our first item. This is a handheld sander. It's made by a company called Makita. This is made by a company called Chicago. This is a sanding area here, and it is driven by a motor that's inside here. It is extremely well made. Extremely well made. Now, there's not very many buttons on this. This is not a button. This is a part of the unit, and it is on both sides. And underneath it are parts that make the unit operate. This is a screw which tightens the sandpaper that is on here. The sandpaper goes around this way and into here, and this tightens this so that it doesn't flop. We don't want anything that flops. Okay, now then, the button that makes this operate is right here, and it goes this way and this way. It turns it on and off. When it's down, it's off. When it's forward, it's on. And it must be plugged in to a wall socket, just like you would plug in a lamp. if you had a lamp that you wanted to light, you would plug it in using this. If you want this to operate, you would use this and you would plug it in to an electrical outlet. And it would run very, very nicely. And it is, some people might say it's very small to be a sander. And that is correct. It is small because it is for detailed work. Fine work where you would want to direct it easily back and forth, left and right, and so on. This is also a portion of the control for the sandpaper that will make the sandpaper stay nice and flat against the saw body. Now, one of the things that probably would be wise for you to do if you were to use this would be to wear a pair of gloves. It's not particularly dangerous, but you want to keep your hands away from this. Even if you have gloves on, you want to keep it away from the sanding. I have used this in many occasions where I wanted to do some fine work. Not great big extensive work like I was sanding a floor or something like that. But I used this when I made a piece of furniture, small furniture, even like a small set of chairs and a table for a young person. And when I was finished doing the heavy work in making the table, I wanted to sand it off so it would be nice and smooth so I could then coat it with varnish. And this was very, very appropriate for that kind of a job, for fine work. Let's say, just for instance, let's say that I wanted to build this toolbox, and I wanted to be careful that these edges here were nice and smooth so that when I put this lid down, like this, it would fit very nicely along this seam. And so I would take this, I would turn it on, and I would very carefully run it along the edge like this, so that it was nice and smooth. Does that make sense? Well, it works very well. Works very well. And then when the lid goes down, I have a nice, smooth seam where the lid meets the body of the box. I'm going to have a drink of Coke. Is yours good? You have a drink too. Thank you for joining me today. I really enjoyed showing you these power tools. You could have a little drink too. Very good. Was your drink good? Good for you. Okay, my children and grandchildren, we have gone through everything that was in the toolbox. All of the tools are here, and we talked about each one. Well, I hope it was fun for you. All right, now, Grandpa's gonna put these all back in this toolbox for you.